Alright, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Brittany Digger, who asked me to do a video about a RWBY Samurai Jack crossover. Something that we could have gotten from DC Comics, or even DC and Dynamite, if the RWBY rights weren't sold off to Viz Media, but let's not talk about that. Anyway, well, it could still happen. I mean, Dynamite and Viz Media could work together, and I can't wait for that trade to never happen, come out, or get delayed to all hell. Anyway, enough about, comic book practices. Let's talk about the actual story. But before we do, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So, the story basically begins in, it basically begins with with RWBY being dispatched on a mission, to a, basically there's been a village that's been attacked by Grimm. Now, keep in mind, for wondering where we are in continuity, it don't matter, fuck it. It's just, before the whole thing went sideways. Let's go with that. Let's say it's before everything went sideways. The canonicities, don't worry about it for this time around. So basically, Team RWBY's been dispatched, and they are basically sent to this village that's been besieged by Grimm. However, when they get there, what they discover is that, yeah, the Grimm have already been killed. The villagers already said, oh yeah, thanks for the huntsman you sent. And they're like, no, we're the huntsman that was sent. What do you mean another huntsman showed up and took everyone out? He's like, yeah, it was one dude, one guy with a sword. The Grimm couldn't even touch him. He was moving so fast. And they're like, it doesn't sound like anybody we know. What was he wearing? What kind of armor? He's like, no, he wasn't wearing any armor. It was just a dude with a sword. So they're like, so there's another huntsman. That's weird. Should we look into this? And they even ask on Scroll, they're asking for a report, hey, did you send a huntsman before us? Because the village that we got summoned to basically said it's all good here. What do you want us to do? And Ozpin is like, I didn't send anyone. We didn't send anybody. If they're is it some kind of unclassified huntsman? Go find, bring him here. I want to know about him. So Team RWBY's just like, all right, cool. So they basically get more description from the village and proceed to go, that basically say that, oh, he asked for some, we tried to pay him, but all he asked for was just some rice and some, maybe some water. We gave him that and he went on his merry way, into the forest. And they're like, the Grimm-filled forest. He went into the Grimm, that forest that's still full of Grimm. And they're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's good. So Team RWBY goes in after the mysterious swordsman. Sure enough, they run into more Grimm, and as they're fighting them, that's when a certain samurai comes out of the shadows, wielding his sword, and just starts striking these Grimm down left and right. He's and when it's all over, he just puts his sword away, and he's just like, I take it you're looking for me. And they're like, and RWBY's like, yeah, you're gonna come with us. Are you? We appreciate that you saved that village, but we don't know who you are. Can you come with us and kind of answer some questions? And he's like, yeah, no, I got my own thing to do, so I gotta go. And Yang, of course, is like, I don't think you heard us, buddy. This wasn't a request. When we say you gotta go with us. And Jack is just like, please, I do not want to, I mean no disrespect, but I have to leave, I've, saving that village already cost me some time, but I have to go. So Yang's like, you're not going anywhere. And of course that leads to a fight. So Team RWBY takes on Jack. And you may be thinking, oh, well, Jack's cooked. You guys remember that fight in Batman vs. Ninja Turtles where all four of the turtles fight Samurai Jack, and Jack just smokes, and then, not Samurai Jack, fight Batman, and Batman just smokes all of them, even though it's kind of bullshit? That's what happens here, is that Team RWBY tries to take on Samurai Jack, and Jack just proceeds to smoke all of them. RWBY comes out and is like, think fast! He just steps out of the way and thunks her in the back of the head with the back of his sword. And she's just like, ow, he thought too fast! So everyone's fighting until eventually Ozpin shows up, and he's just like, enough! So Ozpin's there, he gets everyone calm, and he's just like, who are you, stranger? And he's like, my name, they call me Jack. And he's like, well, Jack, you're gonna have to come with us, because we need to speak with you on certain matters. And he's like, I really don't have time for it. He's like, all right, tell us what you're after. And he goes, I am not from this world. I come from a different world that was ravaged by an evil warlord named Aku, a shape-shifting master of darkness. And Yang's like, shape-shifting master of darkness. I've heard of those before. We've got one of them. We've got one of those. So Jack tells his story that during a battle with Aku basically was like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. Let it be. I want you to be someone else's problem, and tore open another portal and flung him through. So Jack's been here for been on Remnant for several weeks now, but he has heard rumors about a mystical portal that opens up for certain times of the year. And those days are closed, those are the final days, and it only, this portal, like this nexus of reality, like this nexus point of reality, only opens up in certain times of the year, basically once every 50 years. And he's like, I can't leave my world for 50 years. I have to go back there. So Ozpin's like, yeah, I've heard about this whole nexus point of realities, but this evil you were talking about, and he goes, his name is Aku. He destroyed my world and then flung me into the future. And Yang's like, hold, time out. You're from another world, and the future of that world? What kind of universe are you from? And he's like, one that I have to get back to. So please, I implore you, I have to go. However, Ozpin's like, yeah, we can't, I'm sorry, but that whole nexus has to be protected because we can't let Salem figure out that a multiverse exists. And they're like, wait, we didn't know Team RWBY's like, wait, we didn't know a multiverse existed, and now you want to hide it? And they're like, yeah, the information's too dangerous to let fall into the enemy hands. So, imagine if Salem found out about this thing. Like, what kind of damage could be done if, someone like Salem discovered this portal? It would just spell untold doom for all of us. So we need to protect this. And Jack's like, I can't, I'm not staying here. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. So Ozpin now steps up, and he and Jack get into a fight that's actually broken up by RWBY, who's like, we're helping him. Like, we're helping him get back to his world. However, of course, there were Grimm that were overhearing this, and now Salem has overheard this, and now she's like, there's a whole other universe, so I gotta kill everyone. Basically, I just wanted to kill everyone on my world, but to know that there's still life out there, ooh, that gets me so mad. So Salem sends, sends Tyrion to secure this nexus point. So Jack, now with Team RWBY, have to head there, unknowingly that, Tyrion and even Cinder are now after this portal. So during their trip, Jack is like talking to the girls, and he's like, you guys are, strong warriors for women such young age. And they're like, there are problems. Like, no, I've seen strong women before, but you guys are basically children. You should be having a life. And he's like, well, didn't you say like you trained from childhood to be a warrior? He's like, yeah, because I was fighting a monster who destroyed my kingdom. And they're like, well, we're fighting to protect our world. And Jack's just like, I get it, but like at the same time, you were basically robbed of being, you should have been allowed to keep training and wait till adulthood to fight. I was there's no excuse for child soldiers. I was trained. I didn't go half-cocked to fight Aku. I was trained and protected at a young age by some of the finest warriors on the planet. You guys were given a school, given guns, and just said have fun. That's when there are capable adults who can still fight. That's just a tad bit fucked up to me. So he just finds Ozpin irresponsible, and RWBY's like, if Crow were here, if my uncle were here, he would think you're the coolest guy around. So when they finally find this, because Ozpin's now forced to lead them, they find the Nexus point. Of course, Tyrion and Cinder are already there, along with some Grimm. So now everyone, it's now just all hands on deck, and Jack and now Team RWBY team up to fight them. But here's the thing. This whole Nexus point is also gotten Aku curious, because now he's like, Jack's been in there a while, I don't know, wherever I threw the samurai, he's gonna come back, so I'm gonna find this whole Nexus point too, and probably maybe conquer another world. So now it's a matter of, keeping Aku from coming in from the other side, and Salem going in through the other side. It's like an evil sandwich that no one wants to take a bite out of. So as they're fighting, in the midst of it, Jack is like, if Aku comes through, your world is dead. Like, I don't know who this Salem person is, but yeah, this guy, Aku's worse. So Ozpin and the Team RWBY tells him, destroy the port of this Nexus on the way out. We can't let that evil coming in, or our evil coming into your world. So Jack says, it was great meeting you. I hope, you're all some of the greatest warriors I've seen. Goodbye. Jack destroys it, goes through the other... as the portal's falling apart, he goes through it back to his world, and Tyrion and Cinder are forced to, retreat, leaving Jack to return to his world and continue his quest to destroy Aku. So there you go, guys. There is the Samurai Jack RWBY crossover. I want to thank RWBY for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Like I said, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done as well, just head on over to my Patreon in the description box below. The link in the description box below, and hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.